Hello friends, Jai Shri Ram. Today's topic is a little sensitive and contentious, so viewers' discretion is advised. If you are faint-hearted or if you are going through a medical condition where you cannot take stress, then please leave the video right away. It is going to be a difficult topic and I am also going to go deep into this topic. Today's topic is whether Ichha Mrityu should be allowed or not. Ichha Mrityu is also called as medical aid in dying. Some countries call it as euthanasia, some people call it as doctor assisted death. But in general, what it means is if you're terminally ill and you're definitely going to die after, let us say, 6 months, then can you decide that you want to take your life? Should that be allowed? Now, in general, only 11 countries of the world allow this, and more and more countries are allowing it. The trend is that many countries are allowing it. Previously, no country used to allow it, but now 11 countries have allowed it, and more countries are allowing it. Before this was legalized, there was something called as palliative care. For terminally ill patients, people used to have palliative care. Palliative care means just easing the last few days of the patient, easing them so that they can take that burden. They are able to sustain that burden psychologically as well as physically. So for that, the treatment used to be using psychedelics. Psychedelics are the drugs which cause hallucinations. So suppose someone has a lot of stress or mental illness or that kind of a thing, then those patients are anyways, if they are going to die, then at least in the last few days, it was considered to be a humane treatment if they were kept in a state of trance. Trance means hallucination. They are out of their body. They don't feel anything. They are just they are in the vegetable state. So keeping them in that state was considered to be a little humane as compared to keeping them in that stress all the time, that they are going to die very soon and their body is degenerating over the time. So one is psychedelic drugs. Another thing could be use of painkillers. Again, psychedelics also cause a temporary relief in the pain because you cannot feel anything at that time. You're outside your body. And there are many other treatments also. The mildest treatment would be the use of music, and I think that is the most harmless treatment. Psychedelics, many people say that these are habit forming, they can cause long term effect, but these patients are anyways not going to live long term. So on a humanitarian ground, people allow it. Even in those countries which don't have MAID legalized yet, they still allow palliative care. Okay, so now I told you all these legal terms. Let me also tell you the rules which MAID follows. So suppose you live in a country where MAID is allowed, that is medical aid in dying is allowed, then what are the rules? You might say that this should not be allowed, the misuse of this MAID should not be allowed. So how can that be prevented? So these are the rules under which MAID is allowed. First of all, MAID cannot be prescribed to someone. MAID has to be volunteered by someone. Means the patient has to say it on their own that, see, I cannot go through all this pain, please kill me. Patient has to say that. Doctor cannot say that, see, arey kitna face karoge, why don't you die? Doctor cannot say it. Neither the family members nor the relatives nor friends, nobody can tell anyone that you should die. That is illegal. In every country it is illegal. But the patient can say that, please doctor, relieve me of this pain, kill me. And then the patient has to say it not in the heat of emotion. They have to say it 2 times, and both these at least 2 times, and in both these times the gap should be more than 2 days, so that 2 days are more than enough for you to come out of a low feeling. Suppose you are feeling very low on a day, but maybe tomorrow you'll feel better, maybe day after tomorrow you'll feel even better. But if day after tomorrow also you say the same thing, that I want to kill myself because I cannot go through all this pain and all this suffering, please relieve me of it, then the doctor will consider your case for MAID. Then what will the doctor do? Doctor will First of all, that doctor should feel that you are terminally ill and you are going to die within the next 6 months. And then there should be one more physician which should also feel the same way. So suppose that doctor made a mistake, then what? That's why two physicians should approve this. Okay. After that, there should be a psychiatrist report also, which should tell that, see, while you are requesting for MAID, you are in your proper state of mind, you're psychologically sound, so that you can make such a big decision. Then the patient should be at least 18 years old, and then a few caveats like this procedure means you'll have to be killed, right? So those medicines will be there, you'll be kept in, you'll be hospitalized, obviously. So that also, probably the cases that you're already hospitalized. So then those expenses, who will bear those expenses? So those expenses do get covered in medical insurance. And the cause of death, what should be the cause of death now? Should the cause of death be cancer because you were terminally ill due to cancer and you were anyways going to die in the 6 months and you just want to prepone your death? So in that case, should the cause of death be cancer or should the cause of death be MAID? So the cause of death in the death certificate is usually mentioned as the terminal disease by which you were suffering. For example, cancer in this case. Okay, they won't say that you MAID is the reason, you chose your death, this is suicide. No, they won't write like that. Another caveat that I like to explain here is that MAID is different than suicide. In suicide, you are in a perfect healthy condition, you can survive if you don't kill yourself. Okay, you can live a life, a long enough life, you cannot die within the next 6 months, and even then if you want to kill yourself, then it is called as suicide. Suicide is illegal in every country on the planet. Okay, but MAID is a little different. In MAID, medically you are not able to survive, you will anyways be dying in the next 6 months, and then you have volunteered for the procedure and the physicians also think that you cannot survive, psychiatrist also thinks that you are in a perfect state of mind while making this decision, you are 18 plus years old, then it is called as MAID. So that is a caveat, there is a little difference between suicide and MAID. Okay, now how many countries allow it? There are so many countries, there are 10 countries which allow it at the moment. Canada is getting a lot of attention due to this because in Canada, MAID cases are almost 4.7%, and that too in the last year, actually 2023. 4.7% of all deaths in Canada were MAID deaths. Now, data is really shocking about this. So here, this is because Canada allows a wide variety of conditions in MAID case. So here the physician has to approve, right, that you are going to die within 6 months. So that, under which condition will they approve? Suppose you have cancer, third stage cancer, there is no chance. Okay, then they can. But here in Canada, they can allow you on many grounds. One of the grounds is even that you are not eating or drinking. यानी अगर आप आमरण अनशन के ऊपर हो, then also Canada allows you to choose MAID. And this is pathetic. I personally feel it is pathetic. They should just be given a proper state of mind. Probably they will not choose dying. Okay, so Canada is getting a lot of heat nowadays because they allow almost any condition under MAID. They allow any condition to be qualified under MAID. So that is a problem. Netherlands is a country that pioneered this MAID thing. Belgium is a country that allowed it even for mental illness. Now, mental illness, Belgium faces criticism because mental illness means they are not in the proper state of mind. So in MAID, you say now that psychiatrist report is needed. Now, if your psychiatrist is saying that this person is having a mental illness, how can you allow MAID to happen? But Belgium is a country that allows it to happen. So that's why Belgium is also criticized a lot. Switzerland is criticized even more because Switzerland allows foreigners also to enroll for MAID program. It is not contained up to their citizens alone. Even foreigners can do that, and that's what has happened. One foreigner actually, they told, I think he was from the US, he told his mother that he was going to travel to Paris, but then he went to Switzerland. He had signed this MAID form and he said, okay, please kill me. Swiss people allowed this also, and he was killed. Now, the parents, or you say the family of that person, is now saying that if we are not even, see, is this humane or inhuman? So the people in favor of maid say that, see, it was their choice. It was that man's choice. He didn't want to live. So isn't it human to allow them a choice to end their life? Then usually the people in favor of maid are left winger people. So the right wingers say that, then why don't you allow suicide as well? So if suicide is illegal, this maid should also be illegal. So that is what. And this it has really opened up a Pandora's box, because where is the limit? When can you say that which conditions are really allowed? If somebody is feeling low, many people feel low in their lives, but should they end their life for that, or should you be giving them a better condition, a better mental state, so that they don't feel like killing themselves, right? So that is a huge debate. Other than that, also Luxembourg, Spain, Colombia, one state of Australia called as Victoria, Netherlands, and 11 states of US allow maid to be there. Now, the 11 states of US are usually those states where Republicans rule, the blue states. So I marked all of them in star. Only Montana is a state which is highly Republican. How much Republican? Except in 2 elections, every single time they have voted Republicans. So it is a very, very red state, and even in Montana it is allowed. So normally in the US, people are very much divided into left wing and right wing. Left wingers are called as blue people, right wingers are called as red people. So usually blue people, that is leftists or liberals, they usually are in favor of maid, and right wingers, that is red people, that is Donald Trump kind of people, they are usually against maid, because the right wingers believe that life is precious. And that is also because right wingers believe in Christianity, left wingers believe in secularism. Right wingers believe that Christianity says that every life is precious and no one has a right to take somebody else's life unless it is really required under certain conditions, like some XYZ. Now I don't want to be contentious here as well, but on a broader scale, Christians normally believe that taking someone's life is wrong. It should not happen. And since the right wingers are usually devout Christians, or they try to project their faith a lot, or protect their faith, it depends upon the way you look at it, they usually say that no, every life is precious, it should not be. So usually the right wingers are against abortion also, and the left wingers are in favor of abortion also. So now you get the whole idea, right? What is left saying, what is right saying. So right wingers say that don't kill babies also, don't kill fetus also, that means don't do abortion, and don't do maid also. So this maid is criticized by right wingers. Left wingers say that everyone has a right to decide. So in case of abortion, the mother has a right to decide whether she wants to become the mother or not. And they also believe that the terminally ill patient should be given a right to decide upon whether they want to survive this kind of a life, or they just want to die. They just want to end it. Okay, so that is it. This is basic. Now we can start our discussion. So the left wingers usually say that people should have a choice to decide. Right wingers usually say that if they don't have a choice to decide about suicide, then why should they be given a choice to do maid? Now the left wingers say that, see, suicide and maid are two different things. Suicide means you could have survived your life. There is no medical condition as such. You could have lived a healthy life, but you chose to end your life. That is called as suicide. And maid, on the other hand, is that you are anyways not going to survive beyond 6 months. So why not prepone that death? Why not put that death on a date of your liking, at a time of your liking, and in the condition of your liking? Shouldn't that be allowed? So the right wingers say no, it should not be allowed because every life is precious. Left wingers say if every life is precious, then freedom of choice is also precious. Don't you allow that there is a will that people make, right? That after my death, my property should be given to these people, my body organs should be given to so and so hospital for research, or maybe just cremate me in certain way. So if all this is allowed, then Why can't they also say that please cremate me on this day in this particular hospital? So can't that also be allowed? Right wingers say that don't you understand what is the beauty of life? Life is precious. And of course, in their right wingers way, they'll say Jesus and God and all. But in general, what they mean is life is precious. So why don't you allow that life to survive? Every life is precious. The left wingers say no, not every life is precious, and let the person who is living that life decide whether their life is precious enough or not. Sometimes life is a burden. Right wingers say no, you are lying. Right wingers say that mostly the people coming for MAID, especially in Canada, are those people who are homeless, because your rate of homes over there is very high, expensive homes. Your rate of medical services is very high and they cannot afford it. There is too much of inflation, and that's the reason why people end their lives. And people say that okay, let me use this legal provision of MAID so that my life, means instead of doing a suicide, they choose MAID. So the right wingers think that this is nothing but suicide, and that suicide is because of rising inflation in Canada. So why don't you check that rising inflation first? And maybe people will have a better condition and they will feel better while living their lives. The left wingers say that you are diverting from the point. There are 10 countries in the world which allow this, including the US. US does not have so much of inflation. Then why are 1/5 of the states in the US allowing this thing? And Oregon is a state in the US, Oregon and Vermont. Both these, Oregon and Vermont, both these states are like the MAID capitals in the US. People come to these states from other states and they sign the form there, or I want to die and all. So they say then US is not having that inflation problem, right? So how can you say that Canada is the problem? Right wingers say that Canada is a problem because you are the world capital of MAID. 4.7% of the deaths in Canada are using MAID. 4.7 of all the deaths in Canada in year 2023, and this is growing. Previously it was 4.1, now it is 4.7. So you are the world capital, so we are giving your example. And besides, in Canada, the right wingers say that Canadian government wants people to die because these are the people that are a burden on the society, and you want to you don't manage money properly. That's what the right wingers say to the Canadians. They say, you people want to donate so much of money for Ukraine war. Why don't you understand that your own medical facilities have to be improved? The psychedelics have to be improved. This thing has to improve. These palliative care has to be improved in Canada. Why don't you do that? Allow people to live. At least take palliative care of those patients. Try to do that. That's what the right wingers say to the Canadians. Canadians say, no, we have already, those people have options. We have palliative care. If they want to take it, take it. If you don't want it, and if you want MAID, then we give choice. We are not like you hypocrites. And that is where the discussion goes haywire. Both of them start cursing each other. Now, I have tried to explain you all the scenarios. You let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Okay, now those who want to leave the discussion here itself, leave it here itself. I have not given my opinion. Now, for those people who want my opinion, let me start giving my opinion from here. So my opinion is that there is something called as Hippocratic Oath. So Hippocratic Oath is a well-known oath that all the physicians used to take historically. Nowadays people don't take it. Most of the modern medical schools don't require to take this oath, but it is still a very respected oath. Okay, so it is why the name Hippocratic? It's nothing to do with hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is different. Hippocratic Oath is due to a Greek physician by the name Hippocrates. Okay, and please take care of the name. It is double P-O, and it is Crates, not Cressy. Okay, and whereas hypocrisy spelling is hypocritical. It's not hypocritical oath. It is what is it? It is Hippocratic Oath. Okay, it's not hypocritical. It is Hippocratic Oath. Okay. Now, this oath says that the physicians should use their skills and knowledge to help sick and not to harm them. Now, you tell me whether this is harming or not. I personally side with the right wingers in this case. I feel that this is harming the patient. Why don't you make them feel a little more better about their lives? There is pain, but there are many people who survive in that pain and who still have the zeal to live their life. So what are these people made of? These people are made of one substance which is called as hope, and this hope is given by the society. It's given by their near and dear ones, by maybe the government also sometimes. So hope has to be given to those people who are terminally ill. You see, Munna Bhai MBPS, the concept was the same, hope. There was one person, who tried to suicide over there due to failure in love. So Munna Bhai has a song over there, and he says, "Ki yaar, aisa kuch nahi hai. Move on in your life," right? So I also favor Munna Bhai or right wingers. I'll say that you should not kill yourself under any circumstances as far as possible. But I also have empathy for those people who are facing a lot of pain. So 80% I feel that I'm with the right wingers, but 20% I'm also with the left wingers. Do let me know in the comment section where you are. And now let me tell you where Indian government is. So Indian government has not passed any law allowing MAID. Okay, Parliament has not passed anything. But in 2018, there was a case which came in front of the Supreme Court. The case name is Common Causes versus Union of India. A very famous case. So in that case, the Supreme Court said that under these conditions, passive what is the word? Euthanasia should be allowed. Passive euthanasia means you can at least take away the life support system from the patient so that they die naturally. Naturally means, of course, you're taking away the life. So here the morality dilemma was that if you're taking away the life support from a person who depends upon that life support, then isn't it killing that patient? Okay, and it is against the Hippocratical oath. So should a doctor be allowed to do that? The Supreme Court said that, see, if the person is terminally ill and they themselves want this, then it should be allowed. Supreme Court also said that there should be some will, I think living will. So living will means when you're in a correct state of mind. Will is made only when you're in the correct state of mind. Okay, so whenever you were in the correct state of mind, if you have written that this is my will, that if due to this treatment, if something goes wrong and I cannot, my mental balance is not correct, or something happens to me, then please kill me instead of keeping me alive on life support. So if you have written that kind of a will, then it should be respected. That's what Supreme Court said in 2018. And then later on, it also got amended, and the conditions under which MAID is allowed is eased. So Supreme Court said that, okay, they eased the conditions in which MAID was allowed. For example, previously in 2018, they said that living will should be produced in front of the district magistrate. They should examine the patient, come and examine the patient, and the district magistrate should also feel that the patient does not have any chance, and they should be allowed to kill themselves. So that is how strict it was. But now recently they have said that just attestation of the living will by a gazetted officer is also okay, and the district magistrate should only be conveyed. That's we are going ahead, the doctor should convey or patient should convey that this patient is there, this is their will, and accordingly we are respecting their will and allowing MAID to happen. Okay, so now Supreme Court of India has loosened up the rules so that MAID can be used by people who might need it. So that is the stand of India at the moment. See, whenever a Supreme Court makes a decision, usually I don't think it's the will of the people. Will of the people is when the Parliament does something, because these are the people that we have elected. But Supreme Court comes through the collegium system, so they themselves elect their successors. or choose their successors. There's no election also. There's choosing of successors within themselves. So I don't think that's a very democratic system. In the West, usually the Supreme Court judges are appointed by the president or by the ruling party. And that's why for the 4 years of US presidency, all the judgments also come in the same line in which direction the president thinks. And I think that is the correct way, because the will of the people is expressed in the form of the election. So if they have chosen Trump, then the country is right wing. The decisions by the Supreme Court should also be right wing, right? But in our country, unfortunately, we say that democracy has four pillars. And we say that, legislative, that means PM Modi. Administrative means all these babus, IAS, IPS, IFS officers, all the babugiris. Okay, that is executive. Then third is judiciary, and fourth is media. We say that all these pillars should be independent of each other and they should keep a check upon each other. But the problem with this check and balances is that they are always against each other. Especially legislative and judiciary are often seen against each other. And that's why the decisions don't go in one direction. The decisions are, it's like an earthworm, one end goes in this direction, the other end sometimes goes in the other direction. It's like the earthworm. So that should not happen. I believe that US is a more perfect democracy. That is because judiciary will enforce the will of the people. That's what it should be. Then it is a democracy. But in our case, legislative says this, judiciary says this. Sometimes they work in favor also, but still, sometimes they are opposed, and that is a problem. So that is my take on it. Do let me know in the comment section what you feel about it. And until next time, this is Amit signing off. Jai Shri Ram. Thank you so much for seeing the video till the end. It does mean a lot to me. Could you also please see the video description? It has index, link to the study material, and also if I've shown any products in this video, then the purchase links to those products. The comment section is open for your suggestions and also for your doubts. I always answer to the first 100 comments on every single video. If you want to support my work, here's my QR code, or my UPI ID is amit.shirasao@UPI. Until next time, this is Amit signing off. Jai Shri Ram.